caused me some issues. So let me just fix those issues really quickly. It's stupid, right? Sometimes it's stupid. And sometimes you're like, hey, can you just stop being stupid? All right, it did. It did open up a new stream for me. All right, so give me one quick second, guys. Let me just get this situated. Let me fix it so we can get more updates here on the stream. It probably sent y'all to a new one. So let me just get everything set up really quickly. Sorry for the delays. This is the amateur hour. But yeah, I mean, TSMC was probably my favorite update for that's happening right now. We did get some monthly numbers that were extremely awesome. Done. Let me see. I'm not even sure which one is working. Oh my goodness. I love to have errors. All right. There we go. First, what's up? What's going on? Stuff. All right. So, how are you guys doing? I'm seeing people rolling in. I'm going to set up some stuff because it does seem like this platform that I am working on continues to mess me over. So let me just change a few things really quickly and then we can get started with, so what's going on? Sadaf, what's going on? Ismail, what's going on? Tom, what's going on? Dan, good morning. Good morning. Hopefully everybody's doing good. Give me a quick second, like I said, to just set everything up and then we can get rolling with the episode. But TSMC's numbers were great. I thought their numbers were super strong. Let me just delete this one really quick. Hopefully I'm not deleting the wrong one. I understand. Delete. And I just need to do one more thing and we should be good. I just dropped the video too. I just dropped the video as well on TSMC's earnings. Not earnings. Well, kind of earnings, right? Their overall numbers. All right, one more thing to do, and then we can get started. I am so sorry for. Are you live daily? I am live daily. Susan. And you would think I would be a little bit better at making sure all this works, but I'm usually on between 11 to 12. I now kind of started the babysitter is actually staying 30 minutes longer. So I shifted time. So I might be doing an hour and a half now. Especially if we're getting kind of it seems like the community is growing. And I'm not, Susan, I don't trade. I do trade. I don't talk about it too much though. I do trade options, but nothing, it's not my primary. My primary is long-term investing. But let me pull up chat now that we have everything running, and let me just say hi to, let me just give a shout out. All right. So Sadaf was first. Good morning. Good morning. Ismail, good morning. What's going on? Jose, my brother, how are you doing? I'm doing really well. I hope you're doing well as well. Good morning, Dan. What's going on? Dilks. I'm horrible with names. Fuser, good morning. Good morning. We have Susan Hyde. Morning. Dennis, what's going on? My boy, Big Buck, Star Buccaneers, what's going on? Would you be interested in Cerebrus IPO? Servius? What IPO is this? I'm not too familiar. Sometimes I might know the company, right? But it's like I forgot about. I might be having a brain fog right now that I completely missed it. All right, so while we get some questions coming in, let's just look at the overall market. Let's pull up the heat map really quickly. So pretty flat day, it seems, right? I mean, we have, thank you for the ads. We have NVIDIA, Apple, Broadcom, a lot of the big players, pretty much flat. Micron is still pulling down. Interesting with this one, right? Micron has definitely seen a few scary sentiments in forms of news, right? You have kind of that Samsung news. You had some NVIDIA news as well. But overall, I think investors are happy. I mean, you can't be angry about 8% return in the past month. And year to date, I'm 18%. So it could just be pulling back a little bit. But Micron, at least if you invested in the last few days, you might be feeling a little pain. So interesting to see that one. Google is down, but we do have Microsoft up now in the 420s. Meta still pretty much, I would consider this flat. Oracle up 4% to 163. Amazon up to 210 again. So overall, I mean, it's not the worst market unless you're 100% in Micron and you bought yesterday. If you bought a long time ago, you're still probably pretty good. Now, the other thing I want to kind of look into is TSMC. So TSMC did report earnings not earnings. They've reported their monthly numbers. For those that are not familiar, if you are an investor of Nvidia, AMD, of a lot of chip companies, this is the one that manufactures those chips. Right, it's the leading player. They're building here in the United States. They do share monthly numbers, so that's why when earnings come out, you already know kind of what revenue is going to be. What you don't know is earnings per share and guidance, and that's what usually drives earnings. But they reported their January 2026 numbers. Now, within here, they saw a month-over-month increase of 19.8% and a 36%, almost 37% year over year increase, which I thought was pretty wild. Now, I here at the What the Chip Happened community, I posted TSMC's revenue in 4 pictures, and I think these are it definitely paints a great picture. I mean, the pink is the new January of each year, and this is monthly revenue for the past since 2006, so nearly 2 decades ago. Look at that massive growth rate here that you see on this January number. I think that is impressive. It really paints that AI story. Remember what TSM gave us during the earnings? They mentioned that AI compounded annual growth rate is expected to continue. They're expending much in capex. So the capex that they're spending now is for fabs that are going to be built in the future. So they still expect even more growth in the upcoming years. So TSMC's January revenue, this was the biggest month of January growth, right? Almost 37%. 2025 was also strong with 36%. But visually, you can see the massive growth that you were seeing, right? Because once you get to those higher numbers, right, the laws of big numbers, you have to start growing at those crazy levels if you want to see that same percentage point. So I thought that was pretty insane. This is just a comparison of December to January. And again, you can just visually see that massive jump in this quarter. So I think TSMC, and this is just their last 12 months revenue. I think we're going to continue in this trend for a while as we continue to see that nice AI demand. So TSMC's revenue, I thought, was pretty strong. Now I think we got some questions coming in. So remember, get those questions in. Now is up 3% today. ServiceNow, I did see the software market was experiencing a little bit of uptick today. So congratulations to any that bought. ServiceNow, it's I personally just know them because I know they have a partnership with NVIDIA for certain AI agentics, very similar to, I think, like Salesforce and some of the other players where they kind of partner up with NVIDIA to help expand this market even more. But past years definitely still been painful. Hopefully, if you bought this, hopefully it's the bottom, right? And hopefully we continue to see. I mean, Salesforce is up about 1%, so you are seeing some positive momentum. HubSpot. Let's see how Adobe is doing. Adobe is also green, right? I don't know when was the last time I saw Adobe green. But again, it's year to date, you're still a bit off compared to the rest of the market. In this software scare, I believe semiconductor is probably one of my favorite plays. I don't own them right now, but Synopsys stock, I think, would be a great way to kind of play the software market where you're getting software, getting just cheaper valuations, but you're also getting into a market that's going to grow even more and more. Synopsys and Cadence, both of those we saw a bit a while ago. And same thought process. I think the market is punishing these two players. They did see a nice quick turnaround, at least compared to other software names. But I think this might be one of the funnest or cleanest ways to play the software space. Let's see. All right, so let's go. Remember, guys, get those questions in, and we can kind of jump into them. What else we got? So, what's going on, Edster? I go on vacation tomorrow, and how much I spend depends on how green the market is today and tomorrow. Nice vacation. Hopefully you have a great vacation, Ed. Um, hopefully you're going somewhere warm, somewhere fun, and make sure to just share the great feels with us. They make chips. Oh, Serbius. Okay, I don't know too much about them. Let's. I'm curious. Serbius. Serbius chips. Is this one Cerebrus? You mean? Is this the one you were talking about? Fuser, the ones that make the big chips. Are they IPOing? Boom, boom. Valuation. I do they have a date? Latest financing, $23.1 billion. Some people talking about $10 billion. Um, but let's see. Micron has talent. If Samsung HBM is better today, doesn't it mean it'll be if Samsung's HBM? No, that's the thing, right? I don't think it necessarily, and that's the thing about HBM, right? I mean, it's just like any chip development. That obviously you can learn from your previous generation, but if you guys are back to back to back, like I think Micron, SK Hynix, and all these players are, you can be bad in one generation of HBM, and the next generation you become better. I mean, isn't that what happened with Samsung, right? Samsung, I don't think they were too much in HBM 3 if I recall correctly. I forget which variant, but it seems like they're doing really well in the HBM 4. Micron, I think their main strength started in HBM 3E, not even HBM 3. So each variation, each generation, each request from different customers can depend kind of your success. Um, so just because one player is the leader, it doesn't mean they're going to maintain the leader. Innovation is key, and holding that talent is going to be crucial. But it seems like the whole memory market is down today. SK Hynix is down today, or last night, I believe. Right? I don't think they're open right now. Samsung is down though today. One comment on old chips increasing in value bodes well for CoreWeave. It means there will be much longer, higher value ROI. I bought more. Your CoreWeave Nebius video was great. And I mean, I this and again, it's great to hear it from Jensen, but we've heard about it from other players as well, right? I think during on December earnings, right, when we had Nebius and earnings, not earnings, we had our conferences happen a lot in January. In January, we had a nice amount of conferences after post earnings, and they shared the same concept, right? They shared that their older chips are still sold out. Prices were increasing. I mean, and we just saw. Let's go here to what the chip happened community real quick, and if you go to AI chip analysis currents, we talked about AWS and AWS here. One thing that they mentioned is Garmin, which is the CEO of AWS, they are completely sold out and have never retired an A100 server. Isn't that wild? A100, they have never retired an A100 server. So it's great when Jensen says it, but it's even better when you hear their customers say it. We've heard it from CoreWeave in December. We've heard it from January and December. Oh, wow. Are you having issues? All right, so I'm gonna try to get this fixed. Um, I saw you joined. I'm gonna email you. All right, I'm gonna send you an email, and I'm gonna. That's interesting that you're having an issue with the code. All right, so thank you for that. Again, I saw you joined, but obviously didn't subscribe due to I guess this issue. Um, I'm gonna send you a email in after this live stream, and I'll be able to hopefully fix it for you. That's so weird. That's the dumbest thing for me. I'm sorry, and appreciate you bringing this up to me. Thoughts on Oscar's earnings? I don't have any thoughts on Oscar's earnings, but that doesn't mean AI doesn't have any. Did they report today? Um, did they report earnings despite? All right, let's pull up. I mean, again, I don't follow this company, but let's jump into quarter. Let's burn some tokens. Let's burn some tokens here. Let's go to chat. Which one do I want to use? Let's use this one. Cool. All right, let's go to Oscar. I don't follow this company. It did miss on estimates. All right. So we're gonna burn some tokens. Let's burn some tokens. Our age. Ed is going to Japan. And thanks. Oh, nice, nice. You know, I wanted to go to Japan. I was actually supposed to go to Japan this past year. I'm a huge Star Wars nerd, so I wanted to go for a Star Wars convention. Um, I bought the tickets, certain tickets. I bought certain tickets preemptively, not plane tickets, but things I needed, and I couldn't do it. I decided to pull the trigger. My little one, I can't imagine a 18-hour plane ride with my little one, so I called it off. Um, Yeah, but hopefully you'll have fun. I hear Japan is amazing. It's beautiful. Hope you enjoy the food and everything else you're gonna do there. Bingo, what's going on, Deacon? Um, cheers, cheers. All right, let's see if we got something from Oscar. So someone wanted to know thoughts on Oscar. Let's see what my token burning brought up for me here. Oh, damn. I guess my thinking is for AI infrastructures. Actually, don't focus on the semiconductor or AI infrastructure side. My prompts are usually very AI and stuff rated. Let's see if it gives me anything. If not, then we're okay. All right, so we're gonna get the overview. I don't know anything about Oscar. Let's see how much we can learn with the power of AI. Um, in the meantime, let's go. Let's see what else. Intel and TSMC charts look really good. Just keep grinding up, following the moving day average. How's Intel doing? Intel, I think today is seeing a little bit of a pull down, right? But I mean, overall, the business is seeing great tailwinds, right? You have the tailwind of server CPUs demand going crazy, even though they don't have the inventory to mess with it just yet. I think they eventually will. And then you have kind of interesting and positive results on their manufacturing from their internal products. So the tailwinds are there, right? The tailwinds are definitely there for Intel. I wonder what's driving the stock down today. Um, I wonder if it's just had a great few days, great month. But Intel's definitely doing interesting, especially with the Jose, what are your take on CoreWeave's stat? I saw an article saying its fair value is around 400. I don't know if it's weird. A fair value of 400 on CoreWeave. I don't know if that's. I mean, their revenue right now, their debt is going to be covered with the revenue, right? It's like, I mean, CoreWeave. When you think of their debt, just think about it. I think as a somewhat of the easiest business to kind of correlate it with, I would say, is like real estate, right? CoreWeave is buying these massive hotels, right? These massive hotels in real estate. Again, just putting it into this perspective. When you're buying like a massive, massive skyscraper, and that's what CoreWeave focuses, right? They don't focus on small AI infrastructure. They focus on big ones. So the easiest thing to correlate a real estate is correlated to a massive, massive skyscraper hotel or whatever, where you're going to do a lot of rentals. Now, originally, obviously, to build that massive skyscraper, you're going to get a lot of debt. But then when all that rental income starts coming in, that's going to be paying off that mortgage and whatever. That's exactly how it's going to happen here. They're building these massive skyscrapers of AI, not necessarily, right, but just kind of theoretically, um, imaginative, massive skyscrapers of AI infrastructure, which are going to be collecting that revenue. Now, $400 price target right now. I mean, they have to turn out a lot of active power, and they say they are within the next few quarters. And I think we're going to see some massive revenue growth rate then. I think the street is going to be surprised how much their revenue growth happens after this active power comes in within the next quarter or two. I'm excited. I'm actually very, very excited for their earnings. But again, yeah, 400, no problem. All right, let's go back. I know we promised some Oscar. Let's see what we can learn about Oscar. Again, I don't know it. We're burning some tokens. Let's see what so Oscar operates technology-enabled health insurance plans. I actually did not know that. Right now I'm learning about Oscar in the individual and small groups ACA marketplace. The company serves 3.4 million members as of February 1st of 2026. I'm guessing that was their most recent earnings, up 58% year over year in paid members expected for quarter two. Oscar differentiates itself through AI-powered member experiences tools and lifestyle-focused plans designed targeting specific consumer segments. The company lost 443 million in 2025, but projects a return to profitability in 2026. All right. So major changes. Oscar executed a dramatic pricing reset for 2026, implementing a weighted average rate increase of approximately 28% across 99% of its membership base. The company also launched a new bronze and gold plan specifically designed for consumers losing enhanced premium tax credits and expanded. Oh man, you're boring me with all this damn healthcare stuff. But it seems described 2025 as a reset year, indicates representing a better than expected decline. Oh man. All right, I'm gonna leave this open. Let me look at some other questions. You can read it. I don't really follow Oscar, and if it's not about chips, it bores me, and you can see I'm bored halfway in. So my apologies. I tried. Hello here from Amit's chat as usual. What's going on? Is Amit done? Is he done? He's done with his 4-hour morning session. What are some of the other stocks doing right now? Let's see some of my AI chips. Any AI chip companies moving good today? MPWR still down today, right? I think yesterday was down as well. That's the biggest red I see. Credo Technologies. Oh, we'll look at Credo. Credo came out. ARM also up 4.7%. I wonder if, I don't know if you guys saw Semi-Analysis did a article yesterday, and they're pushing this massive CPU adoption, something we've heard a lot, obviously, from all the other players. We heard it from Intel. We heard it from AMD. We've heard it even from NVIDIA at previous CES. So ARM, obviously, there being a lot of AI CPUs are built by hyperscalers using ARM architecture. I wonder if that's creating that positive traction there. And then you have Credo. Credo, we're going to look at those reports in a bit. I'm curious here in the hardware and software. Spotify. Wow, Spotify up 16%. That's crazy. I don't know why. I felt like I heard someone talk bearish about Spotify yesterday. And now up 16%. That's pretty well. Figma up 10%. Shopify looked extremely cheap in the low 100s, up 8%. Reddit up 5%. You're seeing a little bit of wake up in the software space, which I thought was which is pretty nice. Navitas is down, Iron is down, but a lot of these did run up in the past few days. Let me see the mining plays. What are the mining plays doing? Wi-Fi down 2%. Cypher up 6%. Wolf up 5.7%. I don't necessarily play with this, but I do like to look at them. Nuclear and power cooling. Power seems to be a little bit. Bloom Energy, I saw a little bit of a hit. My company SEI, pretty much flat. Nothing scary in the market today, right? Compared to how we've been, I would say this is tame, and I'm not that mad about it. How's y'all portfolios doing? Are you guys doing pretty good? All right, let's see what other questions we have. Neil is bullish on Oscar. That's why I'm also curious of your thoughts while I wait for him to drop a video. Yeah, my bad, RH. I'm very limited in the hard healthcare space. Two markets I usually don't like. I don't like the healthcare space, and I don't like the fintech space. But I know a lot of people like Hood. I know Hood. I mean, that's probably maybe one of the only fintech plays I wouldn't mind going into, because I've seen the growth in here. Right, Hood was actually one of the best things that happened when I first started investing. Right, kind of that lower free, the no cost thing. Seen a crazy down dip. But at the same time, I feel there's so much excitement in AI chips that even though I like it and I feel like I should look at it, it's like maybe I should just continue in the AI chip market. Thank you. No problem, man. Enjoy the vacation. So super QQ, man. Thoughts? What do you think about Micron? I mean, the bullish side. Let's talk about bullish and bearish side. Let me just say bullish side, sold out 2026. You're hearing already selling out or having customers 2027. Micron didn't talk about it, but even though SanDisk is not a memory play like this, it's more of a NAND space. SanDisk did talk about how companies are seeing customers are procuring the inventory up to 2028, so 2 years from now. I'm pretty sure Micron is probably doing the same thing. You heard from Intel. You heard from Intel CEO. You've heard from Elon Musk that one of the biggest constraints in the market for a very long time seems to be memory. So that is going to do really well for Micron, right? So you definitely have that bullish take. The other thing is HBM. Remember, I talked about this in the past. You have that X to 1 ratio, 3 to 1, 4 to 1 ratio compared to your typical DRAM. So for every HBM pretty much gig that you need to make, you burn about 4 gigs of your traditional DRAM. So that overall creates a massive supply constraint in the consumer space. That's why the consumer market is so weak. So the supply issue is going to last a while. We heard it from everybody. So that's the bullish side, right? That's the bullish side. The bearish side, I guess. Oh, and bullish side, obviously improvements in financials, right? Balance sheet has increased dramatically, massive free cash flow. The company is going to be able to buy back a lot of the debt. We'll be able to increase that cash dramatically. If there's ever a slip up, it'll be a whole completely different company, right? This is honestly the perfect time for memory companies to completely reset. A lot of memory players used to have a lot of debt, and let's jump into fiscal.ai, right? Let's jump in here. If you guys have you don't have it, I know you guys watch Tanner. I think he talks a lot about it, but if you don't have it, use fiscal.ai/Jose for 15% off. But let's just look at their balance sheet. How I believe it has improved dramatically, if I recall correctly. Let's look at. I don't want to look at. So let's look at free cash flow really quickly. We're also gonna look at balance sheets. Let's look at total cash and short-term investments, and then let's also look at long-term debt. Like, this is a massive turnaround. Their cash hasn't increased much, right? Free cash flow has increased dramatically. And look what they're doing with that free cash flow. They're paying down that debt, right? That debt is that pink. So they're within the next few quarters, you're gonna see that debt even lower and lower, and you're actually gonna be a way stronger balance sheet. So there's a lot of good stories to say about Micron. To me, the biggest thing is competition is right there. Every big player wants you to get your product a lot cheaper. For most people don't know, for NVIDIA, one of the biggest and most expensive costs of their AI chips is HBM, right? I mean, for most AI chip companies, they're most expensive. It's not TSMC. TSMC is not the most expensive. The most expensive bill of material is HBM, right? So it's like, if I can reduce this product dramatically, I'll be able to increase my margins even better. I think that incentive from other players scares me a little bit. But like I mentioned, there's a lot of bullish stuff for it. Right? If I was building something and the most expensive thing, I'll be working nonstop to make sure that most expensive things gets cheaper and cheaper. What are your thoughts on Cypher and TeraWolf? So we bullish take. Let's talk about the bullish take, right? TeraWolf and all these players, massive power shelf players. We hear power constraint is still an issue. So you have that long-term tailwind. I don't really own either of them. I prefer when they're a little bit higher in the stack, right? Because you have like your PowerShell players, they're at the bottom, right? That's what everybody needs. Then outside of your PowerShell players, you have ones that also run kind of the AI infrastructure. Then you have those that run the AI infrastructures and have some clouding solutions and some software solutions. And then you kind of have like the cloud server providers that have almost everything within there, right? So TeraWolf is bottom in the list there, but this power constraint is strong there. I like to be a little bit higher in that list. That's why I personally enjoy CoreWeave, Nebius, and CoreWeave the most. Nebius second, and then I do own some iron. But then I'm also bullish in cloud server providers. But the overall theme is this market is still power constrained. So you see the massive growth opportunity, but it's just not for me. I'd rather invest in the other avenues within this same ecosystem. Let's see. Hey, Jose, what's better pick, Credo or Astera Labs? I mean, I own Astera Labs. I recently just bought this. We bought this in the What the Chip Happened. We talked about it around 150s. So I'm happy with those purchasing, right? But Credo is also doing good. I mean, they just reported preliminary results. I mean, Credo around we saw. Let's just put the top end. I think our cost basis is lower than that. Just on there, it's about 15%. Credo, I think it's a lot better during that same time frame. About give or take. if you bought at the bottom, if you bought at this bottom of 90, that's wild. 41%. You're almost up 50% in just a few days. Um, both are interesting. Both see that thematic of networking solutions. They play it in different ways, right? But the main big market they're hitting is networking and kind of AI scale up happening in all various forms, right? So they play it in different ways. Um, Credo just reported that their quarter three fiscal year 2026 revenue is in range for 400 or 408 million dollars, above their consensus. Their consensus was around 345 million. Not only that, they expect to continue to see sequential revenue growth, which is going to lead for them to have a 200% year-over-year growth in the current fiscal year. So even the market was expecting around 342. They're saying, no, we're actually going to do somewhere between 405. So massive growth rate, the demand as AI infrastructure, as AI connectivity is million GPU clusters, right? That's wild. I think there's both ways to play it. I preferred Astera Labs, but Credo seems to be another great play. If I would play an ETF approach, I think I would just pick both though. Um, Lisa down quite a bit on what? I don't think not. Are you down? What do you own, Lisa? That you're down quite a bit today. I think from maybe all-time highs, we're still a little bit down if you're an AI stock investor, but um, not too bad. I mean, Nvidia's trying to pull back into. I do. It's my least. It's my not. It's my smallest out of like the three AI infrastructure that I play. Um, I mean, like I mentioned, the theme here is super strong for the sentiment of AI infrastructure. And let me just make sure I don't have any super chats. Not that I'm requesting or anything, but just in the platform I'm in, it's not there. So I just want to make sure I can see it. Um, but yeah, I mean, we overall it's easy. So my theme for these is AI infrastructure is not enough. It doesn't have to get too much complicated from there. Um, why is Google down? I heard Google is doing, let's see, Google stock. And that's not Google down about 1.8%. I would hardly call this down. Um, but it does seem like they're selling some debt, right? That's definitely something. So Google sets 100-year bond sales as debt grows amid capital spending boom. How much are they trying to? Did they talk? Did they bond investors are betting on another 100 years of Google? That is wild, right? Um, So Alphabet is offering, let me just zoom in. Alphabet is offering a 100-year bond as part of its latest borrowing bonanza to finance its massive AI spending. The firm is seeking tens of billions of dollars for its project via debt instruments in a range of currencies. It has already raised $20 billion from U.S. investors this week in heavily oversubscribed offering and is seeking at least 7.5 billion in UK sterling and 3.6 in Swiss. I don't know. I wouldn't even go there. So, I mean, the market is. We saw Google right increase capex dramatically. What did they mention? 185 billion, I think, this year, of capex. The market is worried, right? You're worried. Hey, are you going to be able to? Are you destroying your balance sheet too much right now for AI infrastructure? Right. I think that's what the market is worried for a lot of these players. I don't know. I should have kept those actually, and just look at Google. I think Google can't slow down. These players can't slow down. There's massive demand for cloud infrastructure right now. Why fight it? Right? Why fight it? Um, I mean, you saw in September to December, you saw massive growth in debt for this company. Obviously, you can see it here in cash, and they're going to be spending it over time. That's what the market is scared of, right? That debt getting higher and higher and higher. But you still have free cash flow, right? Free cash flow is after capex. Now let's look at operating. Let's add operating cash flow here. Um, Operating cash flow, cash from operating activities. Look at that. I mean, even though they're increasing, the amount of cash flow from operations is still bigger than debt. Um, I mean, I wouldn't be worried. Google, I mean, their ad business isn't going anywhere. I don't think cloud business is going anywhere. I think the market is obviously scared of the change in the balance sheet that we're going to see with a lot of Max 7s. But as long as we continue to see that nice free cash flow, I think it will get scarier and scarier. Maybe we might see some stock prices decline if the free cash flow starts to go below in the last 12 months, starts to go below like maybe the $10 billion mark, right? It's like, whoa, you're below the $10 billion mark. Your margins are getting smaller and smaller here on how much investing we would allow you to do. Um, so yeah, let's see what else. Uh, have you talked about Tavily yet, Jose? Nebius just bought it. I did not. I don't know what they do. So I saw Nebius. Uh, I don't even know if Taville, whatever. Let's see. So and Nebius agrees to buy AI agent search company for 275. Let's see what so the AI cloud company today announced an agreement to acquire blah 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 leading agentic search provider searching Fortune 500 enterprise and top AI companies. The deal brings real-time search infrastructure to Nebius AI cloud platforms as the agentic AI market enters a period of rapid enterprise adoption. This acquisition advances Nebius' strategy to build unified platform where vertical AI companies and enterprises can build, tune, and run autonomous agents by adding agentic search to its existing AI cloud platform. Nebius is expanding the integrated software stack needed to assemble and operate enterprise-grade agentic. I guess maybe I'm not too familiar what they mean by agentic search. Are you doing like web search and stuff like that? And wouldn't just Google have something that you'll be able to do that? Or aren't a lot of the AI models doing that itself? So I'm not understanding too much what the agentic search part is. Like, what is the actual business here? Right? Agentic search is massive. Have they just or is this a company that has created that uses random models and has created a perfect agent to do real well research search basis? Now that's different. Now that's the concept that's different. Now that's interesting. Um, I would love to hear a little bit more about this company and understand the actual product because agentic search just sounds so. What do I call it? Just so wordy. What is when you use just words that just like AI buzzwords. That's the word. I appreciate it. So I would love to. I know Nebius has a great management team, right? So they definitely have a plan. I'm trying to think of how that plan fits together, right? So maybe I'm gonna have to read a little bit more, but that would be my first thing. It's like, what exactly is the aspect here? Um, but yeah, that sounds interesting. I mean, again, I know their management is extremely strong. Let's see what else do we have. And how did the stock react on this? Because 250 million is a decent change, right, for them. Pretty much flat on the day. Let's see. What other questions we have? What's going on, George? George, hello. Jose, do you think AMD's rollout of racks will be smooth? I know NVIDIA had some heating leaking issues with their 72 Gs. Will AMD be able to avoid those types of issues? So, Ed, I mean, will it be smooth? I don't think so. In theory, right? We hear about it everywhere, right? It's always hard being the first player because you don't have a form of roadmap, right? This is why many people, I guess, used to always clown on OpenAI, which I thought made no sense. It's like OpenAI was the first to release a lot of these state-of-the-art models. Once they do it, obviously, it's easier to learn from them how they did it. Obviously, engineers also go, but it's like once you have some form of way to maybe reverse engineer something or hear more about it, you get the opportunity to succeed a little bit better if you do it second. So I think it will be smoother. Do I guarantee it is going to be smooth? I don't think so. It's regardless how much you learn from others. The cycle is completely the massive growth is still different, right? The great thing is probably a lot of their supply chain players are from NVIDIA. So maybe they learned a lot, like the supply chain player itself, the supply chain market has learned as well, right? It's not just AMD learning from NVIDIA. I think the most important thing is the supply chain itself has learned a lot better how to handle these types of situations. I do believe there's risk. There's risk. That's what I'm going to say. I think it's going to be smoother, but I think there's going to be risk um, of it not being as smooth as the market hopes for. Um, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. What else? We got some great questions here. What do you think about Micron? I thought I answered that one as well. ARM is benefiting dramatically. Like I mentioned, I think semiconductor semi analysis dropped like a good piece on CPUs yesterday. We've been talking about ARM, right? You guys can't say we haven't talked about ARM in this live stream. I don't own it, but I was saying in these low 100s, it looked attractive, right? It looked interesting. That I wasn't fighting that negative valuation as much as I used to. So luckily we do these live streams. I don't own it. I'm not mad I didn't buy any. I've been buying some other stocks, but the CPU market in data center space, I do believe, is gonna create some positive reaction here for ARM investors. Let's see. I mean, I think they're going to do well. I think the AI. So about a year ago, 2 years ago, the AI market was so new that you really just were focused on one type of workload and one type of solution. I think the AI market is entering and I think this is what's cool about AI now, right? AI is no longer just one thing; it's entering so different. They're entering so different markets: robotics, chatbots, long-term thinking, long-term research, video, pictures, and each type of AI market will have its own type of market share. So I think now in the AI market, it doesn't mean you have to compete against NVIDIA. I think you have a chip that might be good in that market, and that's all you need to be extremely valuable. I think Cerebras has a partnership with OpenAI, right? OpenAI and Cerebras, right? They have one for high speed for low latency, inference latency. We don't know. It's not like it's not like OpenAI is gonna use them for all their models. No, OpenAI has a model that's only crucial for low latency. Maybe it's gonna be the free version, the one that every free user is gonna be getting, right? And that one maybe is extremely low latency. That's where we're gonna put Cerebras, right? Something where we need something extremely cheap. We need something that probably not gonna make much money, and we just want to keep running to grow the overall business. And I think that's where AI is gonna go, right? You're gonna have so many different workloads. That can benefit from it. What's going on? Clap bricks. NVIDIA doing all good. What platform do you use for research? Also, do you share all your prompts that you use with AI or in the? So the platform that I use for research is called Quarter. I don't think most people can use it now. They transformed it only to enterprise only. I pay about about 7-ish grand per year for it. They so this in this I don't share these prompts because not many people have this platform and it can't be used. It's the prompts I use are uniquely for this platform, right? It's uniquely based on how they handle their data. But I do share some prompts to the community and help build, right? Because AI is definitely it's crucial with investing. But yeah, I don't. This one is pretty expensive, so I don't think most consumers will be having this platform. NVIDIA, Jose covering ALAB today. They report earnings today, right? I don't know if I'll be covering it. I don't know about. I wouldn't be doing a live stream unless there are labs. I will be covering the video, right? I'll do maybe earnings either tonight or tomorrow morning. If AMD has any setbacks delays when production starts for the MI, it will. Yes, that is true. 100%. And also, though, it is important to remember NVIDIA had a lot of issues with their products, but those reports came in 2 months after or a few months after it happened. So NVIDIA was already kind of like moving along with it. So the stock market was reacting to something that happened in the past because the information just came in late, but they were still kind of moving and chugging along. I would say be careful with AMD as well. You might hear a lot of fake news in forms of delays or issues. I mean, we just heard just about 2 weeks ago, right before earnings, right, that there were delays with the MI450, and AMD came out and said, you know what, everything is on schedule. And it did see some negative price action due to those rumors. So for AMD investors, if you're an NVIDIA investor, you know, right? These rumors come like no tomorrow. Um, it's great to always look at past transcripts, especially recent transcripts, to hear if there's any information that the kind of company might have shared to either help debunk or support some of those theses. Ooh, 100%. Wow, pretty massive beat there. Key claims made by include performance over third-party benchmarks and company data. And for yes, so they do this, Fusa, right? I think it's only for certain things, right? It's like it depends on the model size. It depends on so many things, and that's why OpenAI is partnering with them for a different thing. Spotify is different than other software comps, though. Um, yeah, obviously. I mean, you kind of have the I don't know if I comparing it to software place. I was just comparing it that to Spotify with kind of just the massive growth there. Hey, Jose, Moriah. Hopefully, I say that name correctly. Sometimes I go with confidence. I go with what comes out first, but I'm probably wrong. Hey, Jose, Corey, CEO, in multiple recent interviews stated that their supposedly debt from building is all secure from long-term contracts with their yes. So that's exactly how the debt works, right? It's and the other thing is each AI data center has its own debt, right? It's not like uh, the way they talk about it is um the debt is not unified for the whole company, even though it is, but it's specified for that place. So it's like when they take out one debt, it's for this data center, and they go to the bank or whoever and say, "Look, this is what we're going to use this debt for, this data center, and let me show you the backings. We have this massive contract from this player, right? So we have this massive contract for this player, and we also have this." Type of GPUs that once they go into the AI infrastructure, they're gonna be worth something. So you have not only the backing, but we know that these products, at least right now, are able to withstand some form of cost price that you will be able to either sell them later on if something goes wrong. So there's a lot of backings behind these, and that's why again I wouldn't be too scared of their debt. Like I mentioned, it's like you're building a massive. It's pretty much like saying this: I'm building a massive skyscraper building for rentals, but I already have like all the rooms rented out. I already have all the rooms rented out for the next 5 years. Like, obviously, if I was a bank, you have all the rooms rented out for the next you're going to be able to give me you're getting a prepayment on it already. Not only that, you're also going to have GPUs that I'll be able to sell if something bad happens, right? The furniture within there is actually something that can be sold. So it's like that. It's when you have, I think you have to think of their debt a little bit different. Um, let's see what else. Let's see what else. Spotify, Netflix are sectors on their own. It's done. Nice. SoFi to be designed. How's SoFi doing? How are you SoFi Bullish doing? Or how shareholders? You guys doing good? All right, 1.5% up. We're doing good, it seems. Congratulations. I'm happy to see some green for y'all. No fintech. I don't. Not that I'm anti it. I don't know. I think fintech scares me. Most fintech scares me. Because I feel like what is the true moats for a lot of these players, right? Like, how can you really? What's? Is it just? I don't know. I'd like to look for something that excites me of growth rate. I like good businesses with a good growth story, right? Call me sucker. I love a good story. I love a good AI story. I think most fintech companies can kind of go into the good business, but I'm not too sold on the good, fun growth stories that I'm excited to see, right? I think that's the thing. And that's with a lot of other companies, right? They give me a good business story, which is great. A good business story is all you might need. But I like to invest in a good business story and a good kind of overall growth story as well. Um, you don't like healthcare, fintech, or memory space. No, I like the memory space. I don't like your traditional memory players. I've actually made a few purchases on the memory market. I think there's a lot of opportunity in the memory market. Um, is is I think there's a lot of opportunities in the memory space. I just don't think it's necessarily always in just like your Micron. There's other ways to play the memory space. Um, Jose Naro stocks. I'm buying this week. ASML. Nice. I'm not a fan of the right now. I'm just not a fan of equipment players. I think TSM has run them up a nice amount, but TSM, nice. Shopify, I like Shopify app. I don't follow too much Meta. Nice. Care to share your thoughts on any of them? I again, for me, it's just the equipment space has run up a nice amount. ASML is a long-term hold, but it's just with the recent run-up, it would be like, okay, but it's not the only one you're buying, right? So that's the only thing I would say with ASML. TSM, I've talked about that one in the past. I think TSM is extremely bullish, but I'd rather kind of go ETF route. But TSM, I would never short them or be bearish against them because they're pretty much running the whole AI market. I don't own Shopify anymore, but Shopify was looking attractive, so great buys there. App, I don't follow that one. Meta Max 7, I think is one of it's a good Max 7. Uh um Too busy gambling last year in April and sold. Wow. Damn. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. But hey, Adam, it's last year. Forget it. There's always opportunity. Um Do you think Micron is better to buy now instead of SanDisk? If I had to pick one, I think I would pick Micron over SanDisk. So within these two, if these two were only the ones in the market, Super QQ, if these two were the only ones and I had to choose one, I would choose Micron over SanDisk. I think Micron has a little bit more of a technology moat. Did NVIDIA said they have enough capacity with SK Hynix and Samsung? Yeah, they need Micron for server CPUs. I'm sure you covered up, but is it bearish? Um, I mean, there's so many different types of memory. I don't think NVIDIA has enough capacity with all those players. I think there's just so many. They have enough, but they could always get more, right? So I don't think it's bearish. Um, I think the market is always. There's just so many types of memory, right? There's the low power RAM that goes into certain server CPUs. There's various types of DRAM that goes into the server motherboard itself, right? Just on that, you have a lot of different types of DRAM that are special for the data center space. So you don't need HBM necessarily. Just the whole market is growing dramatically. That all types of DRAM within the AI server space is extremely profitable. Um, and again, you can use there's various aspects from things you put on the motherboard, things that you use on your CPUs, things that you use on your GPUs, and stuff like that. Um, so this way better than the hotel building since it's all secure only by building on like CoreWeave AI infrastructure. Yes, 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 right. So Mariah, I was kind of talking. I think it's better, right? That's how I see it. It's better, right? Because it's kind of like you have this whole hotel, but you have all the rooms rented out for the next 5 years. You've done a credit check, and more importantly, right, you've done a credit check on everybody that's going to rent all these rooms, and they all have plenty of cash, right? They could lose a job and still have plenty of cash. Do you buy Bitcoin? I don't. I don't. I'm down that area. You blows the market if you're down that much. Just kidding. And someone said SoFi has that story, that good story. I A growth story. It's not a story is right. A story, just like anything, it's all about perspective. The fintech story just doesn't get me excited. That whole fintech story doesn't get me excited. Um, Dwight, yes, Jose, yep, still holding strong on air test system. They're shifting to AI. Luckily, following the channel, we've been talking about air test systems shifting to AI for I think almost the past 3 to 4 quarters. It's been a while since we talked about their shift to AI. Now we're really starting to see more of a actual revenue recognition out of it. But it's been a few quarters since they talked about it. So I'm happy we've covered that one. Would you buy more AMD at these current prices? I mean, we just had them cheaper. 215, yeah, definitely. But I mean, it's like just if I had the cash and I didn't buy here, and now I'm saying that the stocks are up and it's like I'm buying them here, it's like I first would want to think, why didn't I buy here? Now, if I didn't have cash during the recent downturn and I'm just using it, oh, I just got the cash today, am I going to buy? Now it's a different story. But first, I would want to understand my core self to understand why couldn't I pull the trigger here, but why am I pulling the trigger here? Am I just cost trend basis. What is my thought process? So, before, if I had the cash a week ago and I didn't buy here and buy here, I would first kind of question myself what kind of held me back. Because if the stock drops, the reason I would say that, not for anything negative, but it's like if the stock drops, will those feelings come back again? And would you say, lame, I regret buying it? And then that creates kind of weak hands. Bought some Red Cat today. Red Cat, what's that? Labor reports, can't beat them, join them. Can't beat us, join us. What are we talking about? Are we talking about, I'm guessing, Hood? No? Do you have any thoughts on Applied Digital? So Applied Digital, ripping, right? This one's doing amazing. Up 50%, I'm guessing, right? Since those bottoms. Wild, right? Wild. If people bought on Thursday, that's wild. Congratulations, right? Congratulations to a lot of these stocks. I mean, we personally bought a lot of stocks, a few stocks on Thursday and Friday. If you were part of, I even did a video, right? I mentioned I bought Nvidia, AMD, and CoreWeave. Those were three. Then I also bought Astera Labs. I talked about that one. I didn't do a video, but I did it. I talked about it on the live stream. I bought Astera Labs, and there was something else I bought. But yeah, I mean, bearish. If you hold the thesis, I think you can you get the opportunity. But Applied Digital, I don't even think that was the question. Applied Digital, what are my thoughts? I think the AI infrastructure market, right? You have that theme of power constraints. That's going to continue. I see the bullish case. I'm just not a fan of it. I prefer to go a little bit higher in the process, right? Like your CoreWeave, like your Nebius, like your Iron. Those are the ones I prefer. Right, a little bit more. A lot more risk comes in with them, right? Obviously, here you have kind of long-term contracts, but maybe lower margins. But if you have long-term contracts, you know you're most likely going to make money on that land that you purchased or whatever, right? So you're definitely going to be making money. But I prefer like the shorter story and kind of like even though it's a little bit more risky, having the full AI infrastructure way about it. AMD is always a buy pre MI 450 release. Jose, can you cover Credo? Analysts are bullish with 200 price target, but that stock is volatile. Is this a good stock? I mean, you have the theme of the AI market, right? You definitely have the theme of the AI market. I mean, they right here, this is we have like a one-on-one library in the What the Chip Happened community, where you can kind of learn a lot about different companies, some companies many people haven't even heard of, but they sell high-speed connectivity chips and cables that move data inside and between AI data centers. So that alone, right, you definitely have just that growth opportunity, right? There are big products, and where 90% of revenue comes is these active electric cables. The most important thing is not just cables, right? Many people just think it's cable, but it's the actual chip that works within here that helps with that connectivity process, which is crucial, right? That's the actual story, right? Many people just think it's just cables. No, but the actual technology that goes within here is what they develop. And what helps them make great cables that are constant here. They recently made an acquisition of, I forget the company, but they're going to be able to make active, I don't know if it's called laser or LED cables. But it kind of cables with more optic solution, and that's where the market is going. So there's that tailwind. There's definitely that tailwind. Now the question is, are you bullish in the AI market to withstand the volatility? Valuation is also questionable. I think stocks like this give you opportunities, right? It's one of those that you would put in a watch list, and when the market sells off, it's like, I mean, it was just at $100 the last 5 days, right? So it's like, Nvidia 200 soon? I hope so. I hope so. Maybe earnings? Hey, Jose, do you have any thoughts on air? What's going on, Russell? Just bullish in it. I haven't purchased anything in a while, like in the past few months. I don't think I've purchased much more of air test system. I mean, it's a risky play. Usually, if you have a market cap of less than $2 billion, I already automatically put you in the risky play. So that controls portfolio allocation. But air test system, I mean, they're working on burn-in tests. So they kind of do like a stress test for chips in different processes in the manufacturing step, right? There's different manufacturing steps, and they work in various of them. They're moving into the AI chip market. They have a few contracts already with some big players. And they're expanding from there, right? I think this is an opportunity to also be acquired. With the recent run up, I would say this is more of like a dollar cost average over time. It's not one where right now it would like load up the truck, right? You see the volatility. If it's usually a volatile stock, I tend to do more of a dollar cost average way. Jose, I have seven. I can't suggest here. I really can. You were smart enough to have 70% of it in Nvidia. I think you should be smart enough to me personally, I just never could hold that much. But everybody has their own. That's the thing, Deepak. Everybody has their own thought, risk tolerance, right? The risk tolerance. That's literally an Apple headline today. How they create an AI capex in 1/10 of Google's, but how now? I don't know. Would you buy more AMD? I kind of talked about AI financials look amazing. I mean, massive growth, both for Astera and Credo, right? We saw massive revenue growth. When do you do live shows? Just happen to see you were live on. I do them every day here. From 11:15 to 12:30 ish now is my new time. And then I do deep dives. I do deep dives for my community, what the chip happen community. I do deep dives there an hour before, right? An hour before I do deep dives 3 times a week. Funny how the market sentiment shifts. I agree. What price do you see Nvidia going after earnings in GTC? They are going to crush earnings. I agree. Hey guys, actually, can I ask for a favor? Let me ask for a quick favor. And actually, let me see something really quickly. My wife has just texted me. Give me one quick second. Yes, I'm going to eat in about 10 minutes. Give me one quick second, guys. I would love if you guys can do a quick favor for me. Go to video now. Give me one quick second. I am going to, someone mentioned I'm NVIDIA GTC. I'm actually going to be at GTC. I'm hoping to get a few interviews. I did a few interviews in CES, but they have a free virtual ticket if you want to watch some of the streams for free. So if you are curious, if you're an NVIDIA investor, please sign up using my link, right? I'm going to pin the comment. It would definitely appreciate it. Hopefully I can get some nice interviews. And yeah, I'll definitely share some of the sessions I'm going to be focusing on. AB. So AB just gave me a super chat. First, appreciate the super chat and was wondering, if you have cash, top 3 buys today, Amazon, I think would make the list. Let's see. Amazon would definitely make the list for me right now. I like Amazon. So let me pick, let me see, Amazon or Nvidia. Let me go with one big player, Nvidia. All right. So one big player, let's go with Nvidia. All right. I'm going to go with Nvidia. And this is a new portfolio. Let's say I didn't have any exposure. All right. Let's go with one big player, Nvidia. Let's go with, one growth play. I think CoreWeave. I mean, it's still in the 90s, right? I mean, I like it at these levels. Obviously, it's going to be heavy volatile. I like CoreWeave. I wouldn't mind dollar cost averaging into CoreWeave. Some people might pick Nebius, but I think an AI infrastructure. I think I would pick a chip company. I would go with NVIDIA. I would pick an AI infrastructure player, either Oracle or CoreWeave or Nebius. Even though they've seen a round up, it's still nowhere near most of their highs, right? For either of them. Obviously, volatility is still going to be there. So these are going to be the highly volatile names. And then I'm going to pick a company. It's so easy. I mean, for me, it's NVIDIA, CoreWeave, and AMD, right? It's that YOLO, not that YOLO play, but it's like, which one also has a multi-bagger opportunity, but could be safer? AMD at 216, maybe, or I wouldn't mind Marvell. Marvell is also another one there, right? Marvell's $70 billion market cap. So I couldn't pick 3, but I picked 3 markets, right? I picked the big player, NVIDIA. Maybe if you want to go if I would choose outside of the chip, I would put another Max 7, either Amazon or Microsoft are my top picks right now. So big player. If I was looking for more volatile space and AI infrastructure play, I think most of them, even though you saw that massive run up for the past 5 days, you're still down a bit. And you mentioned today. And then kind of like it's not a YOLO play, but it's like a multi-bagger opportunity, but already has a successful business. So I would go with AMD or Marvell. Um, um, so let's see, what else do we have here? Oh man, just curious. Do you hold anything else besides semiconductors and hyperscale? So say, no, I don't think so. I mean, it's interesting. It's okay, right? It's. I think it's so funny to put semiconductors all in one aspect, right? Because each semiconductor stock is different. You can have a semiconductor in the automotive market um, that's not benefiting from this AI race and can benefit in the future. You can have an a semiconductor company that's focusing on just power, a semiconductor company that's just focusing on AI chips, a semiconductor company that can be focusing on consumer, on enterprise, on mobility or some other stuff. So each AI sector, each semiconductor stock it's its own individual sector too. Um, uh, but again, it's also and then hyperscalers, each tech player is different, right? Microsoft is productivity and software in the enterprise. Amazon is an e-commerce play, right? I feel like most people could say they're not all in tech, but somehow if you give me your portfolio allocation, unless you give me like Costco, McDonald's, or something else, you're most likely you feel like you're diversified, but the overall end consumer is probably all the same, right? So it's the other thing, like I mentioned, is I have a nice amount of assets outside of the stock market. So the stock market for me is purely growth offensive mode, right? It is purely offensive mode. But I do have defensive assets outside of the portfolio. Do you cover Reddit? All right, guys. I don't know why that I'm starving right now. I don't cover Reddit. I haven't covered Reddit or Reddit, but I think I'm done for the day, guys. I'm hungry. I'm starving. I appreciate you guys joining me on the live stream. It's always fun. I mean, we had 300 people, which I find amazing. I don't live stream that much. I did do a video just a few minutes before going live. Make sure to check that out. I will be covering a few earnings um, in the upcoming day. And yeah, I appreciate you guys, right? I hope you guys had fun. Um, if anything, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Make sure to join What the Chip Happened community. I gotta send out an email. I definitely remember I still gotta send some emails. If anybody's having issues with the 2026 code, let me know. But yeah, the community is awesome. We share a lot of great insights. So take care, guys. Reddit pushed them over the edge. I don't know. It did. It actually did for no reason at all. I don't know why it reminded me that I'm hungry. Um, and starving. So take care, guys, and I'll see you all tomorrow. And peace out, y'all. Time to awkwardly end this stream.